All the guns you'll be seeing today are available on solware.co.uk, based in Tamworth. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to test and review day for our Remington T rifle. As you will probably know if you keep up with the channel, this done a bit of pellet matching with it, and we found out that it gets best matched with the exact Jumbo Diablos by JSB. Now, anybody who doesn't watch the channel, how this test works is we have 3 targets that will be used today. The first 2 targets are worth 50 points each, and then we have a target called the rings, which is worth an extra 35 points. You need 110 points to pass this test, and also at the end of it I will give you my thoughts on the gun that we're using. I've got to admit, I do like these Remingtons. This is the second one in. We've got the bullpup in at the moment, and we also have the rifle, and they've both performed really well. Less said and done now. Shall we just get it out there and let's see what we can get out of it in our test. The first card is 5 little bullseyes, and every bullseye you get in the red there is worth 10 points, and then we have a bigger normal size target, 5 shots at that one. If they're all in the 10, you get another 50 points. Let's crack on. Here we go. Remington T-Rex rifle. Oh, that's a bad start. But that's a 10 and a good one. Another 10. Another 10. Another 10. So, shaky start, but brought it back. And 10. 10. Oh, 9. 10 and a 10. I think all in all there he's probably scored about 97 to 96 points, but I will go check that out and I'll come back to you, and then we'll go through to our another test, which is the rings. Okay, we've got the 2 cards in there. 49 on the big card, and he actually scored 47 on that one, so all in all 96 scored. He needs another 15 points really to pass the test today. How this next test works is we've got 5 rings up the top there, 4 big ones and 1 small one. Every small ring is worth 5 points, and the big ring, the very small ring, if you should hit that, that's the bonus 15 points. Now, that being said, if he can just hit the bonus small ring, that would get him through today. But I'm sure he won't want to leave it that late. Let's get this next test on. Let's see how he gets on. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you will see that there's 2 sets of rings there up the garden. There's a red set and a blue set. We'll be using the red set today. Every one of those big red rings is worth 5 points, and the small one is worth 15. Let's see how the Remington rifle gets on. Well, that's 5. That's 5. That's 5. That's 5. Can you get the big bonus one here for a nice round? Oh, that's very close. I'm not sure about that. I'll go and get the target in and I'll be straight back with you. Just when I fetch the card back in, I can see that he has ripped the ring on the small one, so he does get the bonus 15 points. And obviously he got all the rest, so the full 35 points there. That would mean today his score has been 131. That's one of the highest scores we've had, I will be honest with you, in this test and review session that we do. That means the T-Rex rifle has done really well, beyond expectations. A few people out there who are probably a little bit of a name snob wouldn't even look at one of these guns, but you have to remember these are £299. They come with a starter scope with them, but obviously I'd say you'd probably leave that in the box and probably get your own scope. So if you base yourself on £100 on top of that for a decent scope, you don't need to get a silencer. The only other thing that you're probably looking for to make your shooting experience rather nice is a bag to go with it. But if you count that all in, probably all in all, you'll have this up and running for about £420, I would have thought. And that's with an half decent scope and a bag. Now, one thing that I will say with the gun straight away, it must be those JSB Exact Jumbo Diablos, and it fires really well, as you can see through its test. This is probably a gun because it's right down that lower scale of the market at the moment that people would avoid. And I'm telling you, it's not a gun to avoid at all. I've got the Remington Bullpup in at the minute, which is just as good as this. They're both really good guns. The bolt action is quite smooth. There's no hardship in the bolt action. I have this matched up at the minute with a Nico Sterling 4x16x50 scope. Seems to work well with it, so that's great. The aesthetics of the gun, it's not a bad gun to look at. Some might be put off by that little green stripe that's on there, you know. I mean, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but what can you do? You live with it, don't you? I mean, I think it's only a sticker. If you're really that upset about it, I'm sure you could probably take it off and rub it away, the sticky bit, with a bit of alcohol. But I really don't think there's any need to do that at all. It's a nice, pleasing gun. You have the adjustable cheek piece here at the end. Always a nice little touch that not a lot of people put on their guns. And as I say, we're talking here the lower scale of the market, so like, you know, it's not an expensive gun at all. I really think for the money this is a great gun. I mean, it's an exceptional gun for the money. I really do think so. But I thought the same thing exactly about the Remington T-Rex Bullpup, and I'm not sponsored by Remington at all. So that is my honest opinion. I think they're great guns. I've had Springer Remingtons, and I think you probably remember I had the Remington T, which I thought was an awful gun. I couldn't do anything with it. But these Remington PCPs, now I'm guessing that these are borrowed parts off some other company. I'm not sure now. Remington are not sort of making their own guns anymore. I'm sure they're using borrowed parts, probably from sports marketing, I'm guessing. But it doesn't really matter where they're getting them from. Whatever match-up and mix-up they've made within the company to make this gun has worked, and that's the main thing. You're buying the gun, you want it to work as you want it to work, and I've got to admit, if I took this out on permission, I'm sure I'd be eating and bringing a few bags of squirrels home, maybe even a rabbit or two. It's got no problem at all. Power wise, I've not been able to put it over the chrono, but that'll be coming shortly. But yeah, I mean, what a fantastic gun. I would suggest buy one of these, because they're going to surprise you. You're going to be really surprised with how well they do work. With that being said, that's my honest opinions on the gun. You've seen how it's done in its test today. 131 means it's only 4 points off hitting the maximum of 135. Now, the first shot it took was a little bit wayward. Being as it's the first pellet and it's the one that sticks on the magazine as you put it in, that could be just caused by the probe damaging the pellet putting it in. So again, if you take that away, this was probably looking at around the 134 to 135 mark today, hitting everything that it's been asked to hit. I've got nothing more to say on the gun, but it's a cracker. That's all I can say to you. And what I'm going to do now is do the chrono test with you, and we'll see what it's like on power. I don't think it's down on power. It seems to hit with the right clatter when it hits up there as well. But we'll soon find out now, because here comes the chrono test. Okay then, our chrono test, here we go. 5 shots, first one 167, second shot 168, third shot 166, fourth shot 168, and last shot 167. I'm going to give a score of 167.4, which was about the average there, and we'll put that in the computer and we'll come back to you with some scores in all kinds of the dynamics that you can have. Okay then, we've done all the calculations for the power output on this gun for the chronograph, and it goes a little something like this. Now, as you know, it done 167.4 as its meters per second over the chronograph. We diverted that down into feet per second, which was 549.2 feet per second. The projectile weight, I used the Gamma Pro Hunters to do this test. They weigh 15.43. That left us with a power output at the moment of 10.34 and an energy expressed in joules of 14.01. Now, that's not as powerful as I thought it would be, but it is brand new, the gun. It's only had in the region of about 30 shots put through it yet, 40 shots maybe. It has been cleaned, but I've got a feeling over time it will get a little bit more better. But 10.34, not the powerfulest, but it's acceptable for a sub 12 foot-pound gun. Right, so we know what it pushes out now power-wise, we know what it's like with its accuracy, we know what it'll cost you to get up and running if you wish to buy one. What else can you express with the gun? Well, the expression is at the moment is, don't shy away. It's not the kind of gun where I don't think if you went into a gun shop looking for a gun that you would want to buy. You wouldn't think to say, oh, I'll have the Remington T-Rex. But why wouldn't you? Seriously, why wouldn't you if it's that accurate? I know the power's slightly down a touch, but it wouldn't make no difference if you hit a squirrel or a rabbit with 10.34, you'd still kill it. It'd be dead. And I think for the money that you're going to be shedding out, as I say, I think this is a bit of a bargain, and you'll have hours and hours of fun with it. It's got a decent tank on it. You'll get around, I don't know, guessing maybe over 100 shots easily with this gun. Maybe even more like 120 to 130 in the 2.2 variety. So yeah, it's really a decent gun to have. My only downside with it comes with one magazine. One magazine, some people can live with that, some people can't. I myself have ordered an extra magazine for it because sometimes when you're out on permission, if I did ever use this on permission, which I probably would do to be fair, if I do use it on permission, it's going to need the two magazines if I should need a quick reload if there's an animal injured. I don't like to see an animal suffer at all. I would rather end it for it and put it out of pain if that should be. I do always go for a headshot and I do wait for a clear shot if that should be the case. But sometimes, as you know, the animals do move and you can clip them and just maim them, and that's not fair on the animal. You're doing it at the end of the day to preserve obviously the wildlife and the countryside. The damage that the squirrels and the rabbits do to other animals, and obviously like the farmers' field and their animals, because they're breaking legs and everything through the rabbit holes that they dig. Even so, as I say, if you're going to want to kill an animal, you've got to make sure it's humane, and I've got to be honest with you, this would be a humane kill gun, so I wouldn't worry too much about the 10.3 foot pounds that it's pushing out. It would still kill. There's nothing more I can add to you about this gun, just that it's a little bit of a bargain. I really do think it is. Usable for target shooting, as you can see, it's quite accurate. It did good down the range. I bet there's not a lot of people who down the gun range who've got one of these, so you'd probably stand out a little bit. The Toblerone shaped suppressor sticks out a bit. Obviously you don't need to buy a suppressor because it's got the Toblerone one built in. That'll stick out as a little bit of a novelty, I think. There's nothing really I can fault the gun on, as I say. The only fault I've picked up on there, a little bit tight as regards the magazine. I would have preferred two in the box, but Besides that, as I say, lamp yourself a decent scope. There is a scope that comes with this kit, but it's a 3x9 V40 and it's generally just a starter scope. It's not going to really get you much. You'll be alright for plinking about in the garden, but besides that, that's all you'll do. I mate, as I say, with the Nico Sterling 4x16x50, which seems to work well with it, and it's done well today, as you can see at our 22-23 metre range here. Done it no problem whatsoever. Yeah, our recommendation here on Orange on Tour, go buy one. They're a great gun for the money. You're not going to go much wrong really. And at the end of that, I'm going to stop waffling on, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon. All the guns you'll be seeing today are available on solware.co.uk, based in Tamworth.